Hello, welcome back to Big Trouble in Little Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Chaz.
I'm Jadabs.
I'm Zach.
This is episode 326, the first episode of Too Big to Fail, a whole month of it was supposed to be the next big thing, and instead it was a laughing stock pretty much forever. Zach, you chose our first movie. It's Heaven's Gate from 1980, Michael Cimino's famous Heaven's Gate. Why'd you choose this movie?
Because I heard about this movie a lot from the internet years ago. Like I found articles, talking about like huge box office bombs or like movies that they held so much promise and then it didn't happen. It didn't come together for some reason or stuff like that. And then various internet review people, personalities bring it up, and I was like, I want to watch this movie. I was like, it became this thing where I was like morbidly curious about it. And then like I never really got around to it because I don't know, back when that was going on, streaming services were just starting, I think. And I didn't really have one for a few years. So the only other option I would have had was find a DVD somewhere. And I never could. So it just got put on the back burner, and then fast forward several years to now I finally watched it and picked it for this for the podcast to watch.
I can kind of remember, I think the Cinema Snob did an episode on this, and like that kind of made me curious about it. And then there was like a big to-do that Criterion was putting it out. This is when I was very first getting into Criterions. It's like spine number like 300 and something, 26. And I thought, I'm going to watch that. So I checked it out from the public library. And, I own a lot of Criterions. I own like if you piece out all the box sets, I own like 200 Criterion movies. I was never compelled to follow up and buy this one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Man, I don't. It's been a while since I've watched a movie that made me pause so many times and go, man, how much of this do I have left?
It's a long movie.
Yep, and we didn't even watch the long. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask, did anyone watch the actual like original film?
Not this time. I did like 10 years ago. I watched the 4-hour or whatever version, and this time I just watched the free one on Tubi.
Well, calling it the real version might be a little bit of a misnomer because there's like been 4 or 5 versions of this movie.
Yeah, that's what I was looking up. Is apparently there was an original movie. It completely bombed, like basically fell right on its face. They edited it heavily to make it for a wide re-release, and then in between that, they've never really restored the full. There's been variations of what's considered the director's cut or full-length version.
It's one of those. The 80s has a lot of these. Blade Runner, Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even before that, when Cimino submitted what he thought was going to be the movie to like the production studio to watch, it was like 5 hours long. And then they were like, we're not releasing this. Like they watched the whole thing.
He was trying to do the stupid 8-hour mini-sode millions of dollars thing decades before it came out. Yeah. He was a trendsetter.
He was, I guess. But they're like, we can't do this. No, this needs to be cut down. And he's like,
we're not going to sell one ticket to a 5-hour movie. God damn it.
What's funny, too, is with that much film shot, they didn't think, we could do the whole part 1, part 2 thing, but this movie was so bad that they were like, we can't possibly do this.
Like, it's funny about the film, how much film they used to shoot this. Apparently, it was like 1.3 million fucking feet of film, like film reel or something.
We're talking, I mean, as will be the case in Too Big to Fail, we're kind of talking about the meta around this movie. We're talking about the story of the movie, not the movie story. But this is a Western, right? It's considered a Western?
It's a period piece more than a Western.
Right. It's not like, it kind of deals with like cattle ranchers and like gunfights, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that's part of my hang up with it. It's like, I know it's trying to be serious and it's dealing with serious stuff, but man, I could use a little more oomph going on,
Yeah, like the scenes where something actually some kind of action does happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of cool. Like, the first gunfight he has when he goes back to whatever Ella's house, and then those guys are there raping her, and then
Yeah, and he comes in, he like fucking shoots them like fucking like a boss.
blows them away and shit. That was cool. And then
Was it?
I mean, the act of shooting rapists was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's
okay.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool. I just didn't
that's
need.
objectively a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I just didn't need the whole like let's just make a rape scene and just force us to sit.
No, I wasn't saying the rape was cool. I was saying shooting people was cool.
Yeah, sure. Just
That's important. So he can like talk to Christopher Walken and be like, "These are the people you're working for," and he can be like,
and then he goes,
I'm
he
having
shoots
second thoughts.
He shoots one of them that got away. So you got that too. You got that satisfaction. None of them made it out alive.
Yeah, there's like that's the thing about this movie. Like overall, no, I don't love it, but there's a lot of things to like about it. There's little pieces in it that I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's neat. And I like the whole thing at the end. They make that I don't know if you guys knew that cart they make. It's called a Go Devil. That's that's like a real siege thing that they would make. In the real battle, in the real actual like Johnson County War, they didn't get to use it. They built it and then they never got around to using it, which sucks.
Oh, it reminded me of Age of Empires, that fucking contraption that they made up.
They were used like a few times. I think in the Civil War and in like the Spanish American War, they made like some approximation of one a few times.
I bet you like there was that inventor be like, what if we just take this fucking barricade and like march at them? That would be cool,
it's basically a wall with wheels. That's all it is.
Yeah, and then like the other guys are like, no, let's just fucking stand in a line and hope not get shot. Like,
yeah,
I marked out when he had all those guys building forts, and he was like, it's just like what the Romans did. I was like, I heard about that. but oh, you got it.
This movie was shot really well. I will say that. I was like,
there's no denying it. Some of the scenes are absolutely beautiful.
Almost every frame in this movie is like some kind of Old West painting. Is like really what it made me think of.
They even color grade a lot of the scenes sepia on purpose.
Yeah, and then they use like some kind of like soft lens or something, or some kind of technique where it made everything softer than what it really was. But I kept thinking that over and over, like various, like I think you could say 85% of this movie looks like it could have been a painting or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said it before when we were watching Fistful of Dollars, I think. I was like, the 80s, like I love their color grade when it comes to films. It just looks a lot clearer and crisper compared to other years, I would say.
This is like transitioning into the 80s, so it's like I think this is like an in-between period here.
It was probably shot in the late 70s, I think.
I think it's 79 they were doing.
Yeah, I didn't recognize Jeff Bridges at all until like late in the movie.
He's young in this, yeah.
He's super young here, yeah. Did you also know there's a very young Willem Dafoe in this movie, uncredited?
Oh yeah,
I did not notice that.
He's just some dude in the background. Like I didn't know about it until I was reading about the movie. I'm like, damn.
I didn't know that either.
Because I thought I saw him, but I wasn't sure.
Which of you have seen The Deer Hunter?
I have.
Okay, that movie's also Cimino, of course, and that's why he got all the backing and money to make this. And I feel like it is also shot wonderfully, but it's like almost never boring.
It's also a good story.
Yeah, Deer Hunter has like
it's long.
They both have a purpose. I don't want to say Heaven's Gate is directionless, but like in Deer Hunter, it just feels like a more refined, like it's a story about these friends, these three guys or whatever. And the Heaven's Gate is like kind of about some guys, but they're just kind of
one-dimensional
in this event, and the movie can't decide if it's about the actual people influencing an event or if it's just about the event's influence on the people.
Yeah,
which is based on real events. So that's kind of, I think that mucks it up some.
Yeah, it does, because it's the thing too is if you look back between like inaccuracies with what really happened and goofs, like there's a bunch of stuff that happens in this movie allegedly that had nothing to do with what truly existed. Like Champion, he was never an assassin or an enforcer. He was just a guy that literally advocated for people not stealing cattle. And
Yeah, he was just a cattle boss.
yeah,
I
and
think-
then go ahead.
I was
No,
going
I
to
was
say
just gonna-
April. Oh, you go, Dub. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I just imagine Christopher Walken being like, "What if I was an assassin?" Like,
Assassin?
I imagine like he would make that up and
Did you
stuff.
see
and be
me in a western?
like, yeah, I want to be this
Killing
blind
people.
guy. Just make me an assassin that shoots people through a cloth.
But yeah, they have the whole ending where there's like this weird after the fact revenge killing of Ella that leads to Jim, and then you see Jim later on a boat, and he's like regretting, which we'll talk
Kind
about
of
that scene.
unnecessary.
Yeah, well, it turns out they actually were captured and then lynched together.
That would have been a more poignant ending.
Yeah,
The other thing too was they really like screwed with like the characterization of like the real people like in the movie versus like, which is what Chaz is talking about, but like Ella was like rumored to be like a weird prostitute madam or something like that,
Right.
but that was never proven, and that's part of like and then also those rumors of her like trading sex for cattle, that it was just that it was rumors, it was never proven to be true. And instead, it's just like they straight up made that her character in this movie.
Yeah.
And then like Jim Averill was like not. He was just like a dude. He wasn't like some dude that graduated.
He was a cuck
and was rich and everything. Yeah, I don't like that either. I thought that was weird. That whole relationship.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I could have done without that.
Here's a fun one. They're having the ceremony at the beginning where they're all graduating from Harvard, which he apparently didn't graduate from Harvard anyway, but that's neither here nor there. There's a whole commencement happening, right? And they're all dancing. It is a full 360 pan around everywhere. There's no orchestra.
It's the orchestra is in his mind.
Yeah, it's like they're dancing and having a good time. And
Maybe it's on like a balcony. I don't know. Just trying to give it
could
a
be
shot.
I know, right? Like it's like
inside.
simple stuff that just has, it's like all the budget blown on this movie, and like there are things about it where they're shot at, and they just didn't think of obvious things that would make no sense. There we go. Music would just make sense here.
Well, you could make that argument that the way he was making that whole movie, it was nothing about it was about practicality. It was
No.
about like what he wanted. Like I was reading, and he was doing shit like he wouldn't shoot a scene until like the sky looked right. Like he was
Right.
waiting for like specific clouds to roll by.
The magic hour and stuff.
There it is.
Yeah.
There's the clouds, and they'd be sitting out there for hours waiting on that shit.
Yeah, like this movie, you guys were talking about, like, has its moments, but at the same time, I was like, how long am I gonna watch them fucking dancing? I got to the point
When they're all
like-
in the circles around the tree or whatever, I was like, you guys have graduated. Can we just fucking go out west? Can we get to Wyoming already?
yeah, that and also the fucking roller derby fucking bullshit that
Oh,
they
the
were
roller
doing.
rink. The roller rink has some fun moments ish. Like
Yeah.
when the guy's playing the fiddle while he's roller skating. That's entertaining in a way.
Or when Jeff Bridges vomits because of alcohol poisoning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun too. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
there's also that.
And he blew into a rooster's ass and said he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. That the
Yeah.
cockfight scene, that's very strange.
By the way, real roosters that were injured into that scene.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's-
there's tons of allegations of animal abuse in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, for-
apparently this film was actually heavily responsible for like the Screenwriters Guild taking such a heavy stance on animal cruelty rights or animal rights and preventing animal cruelty in film because of
Yeah.
all the allegations from this movie. So
That's why they
I
had to
guess
start
if there's
adding
any
no animals were
silver
harmed
lining-
in the making of this film.
yeah, if there's
Yeah.
a silver lining, it's that people try not to like kill and butcher animals for the sake of making a shitty movie. Now they're just killed in CGI to make
Francis
shitty
Ford
movies.
Coppola. No, I'm just kidding.
What do you guys think of? I always fuck up this guy's name, Kristofferson, whatever his fucking name.
I like him. Like he has this kind of after the fact reputation for like he's a country singer and a dork, and we don't like him. I've always liked him. I like him in movies. I can't help myself.
I thought he was a decent actor, really.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so
he
too.
has charm. I think like his later movies from here are a little bit better. But this whole time, like, I just kept on shaking my head because like he was such a cuck with that fucking hooker. He's like, I got you a fucking horse and buggy, and then she starts to go with Christopher Walken. I'm like, what the fuck? I get it, she's a whore and all that stuff, but like at the same time, I'm like, does she really love him? I don't know.
I guess he did, obviously, but like, or they both did, but I knew you were going to have an issue with that story. I was like, I wonder what Dub's going to say about this. But I didn't really like it either. I kind of was thinking like, why can't they just be like friends? And at first I thought they were friends. And then like the weird scene started happening where it was like, it casted like a pall over all three of their relationship, like it was slowly revealing like what kind of relationship they really have.
Can we talk about this real quick? I like, even though they didn't have sex, but like other movies, like why do they need to show it? Like, can you just like show them like kissing like under the like you see side boob, brother. You see a side boob and you go, all right, they had sex, I get it. But like, we have to see the humping, we have to see. I'm not complaining about tits. I will say that. I was like, it's tits.
Well, that's why. It's just because for some people that's a draw. That's entertainment. Oh, do you know you see Halle Berry's boobs in this movie? Oh shit! And then you watch it.
Fucking window lickers, you fucking pieces of shit like that. Like it just like even like in Game of Thrones when I saw like every sex scene, I'm like, do I really need to see this? Like,
natural human function. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
it is natural, but it's like fuck, man. Like you ever like in the yes, fuck you. But like you're watching it with your family, and then all of a sudden just like a raunchy fucking sex scene.
Yeah, that shit's awkward.
I mean, it's awkward. Sure, there you go. Yeah. Don't watch it with your family, I guess.
Well, it's a problem because everybody wants to watch this story, and it's like I thought I was watching this story, not like there's fucking Skinamax now. Okay.
Yeah.
Bait switch.
Yeah. I mean, and then we get to the last house on the left, the rape scene, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember when we marked out for rape? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh God. It's quick sidebar too, because I like to just mention it when I can about Kristofferson. It's one of the funniest things about him is I can't remember if he's talking to Willie Nelson or whatever it was, but there was some type of article that he talks about country music getting ruined, and he talks about Toby Keith, and he's quoted to say Toby Keith did to country music what pantyhose did to finger fucking, and it's just the funniest thing.
That's amazing.
That's a fucking amazing quote. So I just wanted to bring it up.
I've heard that somewhere. I didn't know it was attributed to him though.
Yeah, I had to pull it up. Yeah, it was him.
Little side note. It's still containing to the movie, but like I'm looking at IMDb. IMDb has been a thing since 1999.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, that sounds right.
They never changed their website layout either.
There's a fucking review from 1999. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's been the same since then.
It still looks like a website from 1999. I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah, I like old websites because they work.
They were a lot more straightforward.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say about this. John Hurt.
I still want to talk about John Hurt. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about.
What's his character's fucking problem?
He was an idealist who liked drinking in college, which I think almost everybody that goes to college is like that at some point. And then he grew up and hanged out with industrialist assholes, and I think got depressed. And
I was trying to remember if they do more with it in the extended cut, but it's just like he's like, I object to this. This is bullshit. Also, I'm severely drunk, and then he's just like hanging out with the bad guys the whole time and gets hit in the face. It's like, fucking leave, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Have some balls. Stand up. He's just a bitch.
He is. And like, since I watched the director's cut, whatever, the 3.5 hour long one, no, nothing ever comes from that.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I was like, what does John Hurt do in the full version? Like, I guess nothing.
I don't know, but he's the Elon Musk of this movie.
I thought I thought the Frank guy was, but no, like the way they frame the story up is like you expect him to come into some kind of conflict with his friend or something.
Yeah.
Averill, Kris Kristofferson's character. Or like they're going to have like some kind of discussion, or he's going to be like, no, fuck this. I can't support this anymore, and like help them somehow or like inform them. That never happens.
Like it would have been enough if he's the one who lets him know about the kill list, like the list of people that they want to have assassinated,
Yeah.
and then he could just leave the movie at that point. Like he could
could.
just be like, "This is terrible. This is what they're going to do," and then Kristofferson's like, "That is terrible," and he goes and does something about it, and then John Hurt can just not be in the movie anymore. That would have been fine, but for some reason he's still in it, being a drunk bitch. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
I would have made it to where he helped them.
Yeah, something like that.
Goes and gets the military.
Like I'm sure he's based on a real person, and the real person was actually there, but in like correspondence or something, he was against it. But you fucked up every other character. Like it's one or the other. Like be realistic, like or no, be historically accurate, or make a good movie. And they like
didn't either.
Try to do both, and then they do neither. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the scribe from fucking Saving Private Ryan, except they did it right in that movie.
It's so frustrating though, because this movie has in the last 10 years or so had this like resurgence of people like reevaluating it, and it's a very well made movie. It looks beautiful, but all these people are like, this movie's an underrated gem and it's a classic and it's a masterpiece and it's unfair. I've seen both versions now. I just don't see it. Like, I'm not going to say it's the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not Manos Hands of Fate.
No,
but like, it's not a masterpiece.
It's a heavily
mess.
It's a heavily flawed movie, and I don't see how adding any amount of time to this film fixes the problems it has.
No.
While we're talking about that, I wanted to bring up like all the things that were cut in the versions you guys watched.
Yes, that I would like to know at least, but I have no desire to go watch this movie again plus extra amount of time of it.
Yeah,
I
don't blame you.
Yeah.
So Irvin's speech at the Harvard graduation. So like he has this whole speech there before they go out dancing and shit, and he didn't really say anything of any kind of like consequence or something that was going to run through the whole movie, or it was even like funny. It was just like you were laughing because it was supposed to be funny, if anything. The co-ed circle, they cut some of that when they were dancing.
Okay.
Averill beat up a guy who was beating up an immigrant in front of his wife and children, like in town. There was a scene where he's like, stop that. And then he beats that.
Oh, that happens in this version.
Okay. So
he says like, I think you won, friend, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That part happens. Yeah.
There's a scene where he passes the widow carrying the carriage with him, like laying in it dead, like he's on the road and he's passing them by and he's like checking on them. And then he just keeps going. There is this spitting fight between immigrants during the cockfight scene. They get mad at each other. They yell. They're just spitting at each other. That's literally like, I'm not skipping anything. That's what happens. The roller skating dance scene was cut apparently in some version of this, but it seems like it was
longer.
Yeah. It was longer actually. And I was like, this is cool, but it's like kind of long. Like it was like the graduation scene. You could have cut that down.
Yeah. I mean,
it
doesn't even, other than establishing that they know each other, that they're friends, the whole Harvard thing just almost does nothing for the movie.
I mean, it absolutely doesn't do anything because it's already too long in the movie as it is. The fact that there's even more is just hysterical. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it is a needless piece of setup. Like, there's not some tremendous thing that happens that other than, okay, he graduated, he has promise as this young person to go out and do good in the world, and his friend's going to do the same. And that's literally all it is. You can wrap that up in 2 minutes. You don't need 10 plus minutes of that.
Mm-mm.
But like,
oh man,
a lot of this, like there's like 10 more of these or something, and it's stuff that's like not really all that consequential to anything. Honestly,
that's the worst part. It's not it doesn't sound like anything is adding to the plot to supplement certain decisions because the movie does feel somewhat directionless sometimes. So that sucks.
It
just absolutely sucks.
You know what sucks? Like this director, because Andy, you brought up he did Deer Hunter, and I'm like, those characters were so like they had depth to it, based off of all their relationships with the Robert De Niro's and funny enough, Christopher Walken in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I watched this movie, and we're like, what is the point of John Hurt's character? We get that Kris Kristofferson's character is like a sheriff or some type of like leader in the town, or essentially, and it's just like it feels like it's a world that is like the game Sims, and they just drop these characters in there and said, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think like I really empathize with what Michael Cimino is trying to do with this movie. I think because I too love history, specifically American history. Like I listen to all these podcasts and stuff like that, and I really think that he got obsessed with making this a historical epic, and he did a ton of research on the Johnson County Wars and a bunch of like peripheral events in Wyoming and the West, and got really got his hands dirty, making sure everything was going to be accurate and getting all this really expensive stuff. And basically he just like tricked Hollywood into halfway making a documentary and halfway making a movie. And that's why it's a huge mess. And it sucks. Like, I believe that what I'm looking at is historically accurate because it takes place less than 100 years before the movie came out. Like, I believe that they went and got a bunch of historically accurate outfits and locomotive and all this other stuff, and it was shot in a historically accurate place. That I enjoy about the movie just because I like history. But if I just wanted to see a good movie, which I did, I'm unhappy. That's not what I'm seeing. That's
Right.
not what's on the screen.
The way you put it there, like the documentary, because I remember like documentaries or like any like History Channel stuff when they have like these reenactment stuff. Now this is better than like what History Channel does, but like I did feel like that. I felt like I was getting a history lesson, and then like as they were talking about it, they were showing these these pictures and stuff. Like,
well, he did. Like, Cimino had a really big success in that it sounds like all four of us went and researched the background of this movie independently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, it is, the United States has always had a problem with immigrants. Like, pretty much every generation up into and including ours has this weird thing about people coming in the country, and this is just another one of those events, and it is worth knowing about because it helps contextualize the way things are going now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I tried to see if like people would have that connection that you just said, and all the reviews were just like it was boring or it was great because of all the shots and stuff, like the art. And
I don't know what movie they're watching, but okay.
Yeah. But I was like, you brought up a great point. I'm like, it's so relatable in today's modern society. Like, we got close to what essentially is happening in this movie at times.
I don't want to give the movie credit for that. I want to give, studying history credit for that though. Like,
yeah.
I could read the Wikipedia article for Johnson County War and, get a lot out of it. There's, just as an aside for listeners and stuff, not just Wikipedia, but the Wyoming Board of Tourism has like a whole page about this that I actually thought was really interesting, and I read almost the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm just going to do random thoughts about it now because that's all I got left. Other than when you was talking about how Cimino probably had some kind of real hard on for getting this story out. I read that he had a script ready for this shortly after he did Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
The movie also rules,
which was like his breakout movie. Really,
it's a cool movie.
And then they were like, "No, we don't want to do anything like this. We don't." They thought he was still pretty unproven, I guess.
Yeah,
for something like that, and I think he rewrote it twice after that. And it wasn't until Deer Hunter came out. They're like, "Yeah, go ahead." And it's funny because I was doing a little reading about like the situation surrounding the movie and how like this movie kind of, you could make an argument this is the one that killed like the new Hollywood movement, which was like in the 70s, like they were all these studios were given more power to like the directors to like kind of call their shot on how they're going to make their movie. Like Coppola and friggin' Spielberg and all those other guys everybody knows the names of. This kind of killed that movement. I mean, there were everybody else kind of had their own little bomb that happened. Like they had their brain fart movie that didn't turn out good. Like Coppola had one, Spielberg had one that didn't do good. I can't remember the others, but like this was like the big one because they wasted so much money.
This is why we get so many movies by committee now. This is why producers get to influence movies so much.
And I mean, there's got to be a happy medium because this is the opposite end of too much control can be bad, or too much laissez-faire hands off can be bad. You know, you get this. It's like this mess, this giant corpulent movie that just.
I read something a long time ago about. I can't remember the third one, but it said there are 3 nails in the coffin for directors getting control of big budget movies. This is one, but even after 1980, there was still one example to point to be like, oh, look, someone can get outside of the studio system and do their own thing. And that was George Lucas's Star Wars. But then in 1999, episode 1 came out and people said, wait a minute. So, I can't remember what the third example was. There was a third example that came out in the 90s, but I can't remember what it was. But it was like these 3 movies basically murdered the possibility of a big budget, like a Godfather. Because when Godfather got made, they said, okay, do whatever you want. Here, you make a movie out of that book. It's fine. And he did. And it's one of the greatest movies ever made. That's never going to happen anymore. Now all you're going to get is side stuff like the Coen brothers, one for you, one for me. That's the best you're going to get anymore.
What if Godfather was a female? That's Hollywood now.
We just don't think women are going to be going to theaters to see a movie about a bunch of guys. Can you put some more chicks in the movie?
Yeah.
Can you do something like that?
Can you make her black and gay and lame or what?
All the above. Yeah, random thoughts now. How come they didn't cast different actors for Averill and fucking John Hurt's character when they were in college? It was so unbelievable.
Yeah, it was really distracting. I agree 1,000%.
I mean, it's like, Kris Kristofferson definitely looks a little younger because he shaved that beard off.
No beard.
But he still looks like 40.
John Hurt still looked like leather, though. So
he still was all leathery faced. But, geez, what else? I liked Christopher Walken, even though he didn't get to do a whole lot. And I finally figured out where that whole scene was of him getting fucking destroyed. I've seen a clip of that before.
Oh, where he gets shot?
His ass gets blasted. Whew.
I was actually like, it'd been a long time since I've seen it. And when I saw it happen, I was like, God damn, that's...
Dude, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, that stands out because the whole rest of the movie is so like muted and realistic. And then that part is just like... Just straight out of like a Michael Bay movie. Like that's just ridiculous.
It was insane. Like how many bullets he took. And,
they also go over the top with the practical blood. Like practical blood stands out so much in this movie because the movie's shot and it's so soft. But like when someone gets shot and bleeds at all in this movie, it's like wow, it really sticks out. It's kind of cool looking, honestly. I think it looked pretty good. But this particular scene, I agree. It was.
I like that shit. So like the third act when it picks up more, or I guess the fourth act, however you want to look at it. But the movie kind of like started doing something more there, and I was like, I was able to get more into it then at least, but
It felt like, whoa, gotta finish a movie. Hurry up.
We gotta have things happen. Yeah. Mickey Rourke was Christopher Walken's character's buddy, Nick. That was Mickey Rourke.
Huh.
Oh.
He couldn't tell though because he was so damn young. I had no idea. Let's see. The whole battle thing. Did you guys see the scenes where like that guy got ran over by the wagon?
Yeah.
And so that was in there? Okay. And then like that woman shot him out of like fucking mercy. And then it's like she shot herself. Because I heard that stuff was cut out of different versions. Some of those scenes like that.
I remember a guy getting his legs crushed by a wagon, but I don't remember the rest of that.
Yeah, like she shoots him because he's like going like, "Oh my god, my legs, fuck!" And she just puts him out of his misery. And then like after the battle's over, like the army comes in and like saves everybody, so to speak. And like you just see Jeff Bridges like walking around looking at everybody that's like dead and shit. She's just looking out everywhere, and then she just shoots herself in the head. She eats her gun and just ends it. I'm like, damn. And then I think some of the boat scene at the very end, where it's like 10 years later, he's like in fucking Rhode Island, off the fucking bay somewhere. I think some of that is like extended there, depending on what version you watch. I don't know. No, there's no dialogue. Nobody says anything.
Okay, I was going to say he doesn't say like virtually nothing happens. He just kind of looks old and sad, and then there's kind of a flashback, and then he looks old and sad, and there's credits.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it. Like his wife says something like, "Can you light my cigarette?" Yeah, and he lights her cigarette for.
It reminded me of a much better movie. You guys ever see Wyatt Earp? I like that movie.
I have not.
It's not as good as Tombstone, but it's damn good.
Let's check it out.
It ends somewhat similarly.
I had to look. This movie got nominated for a handful of awards, which kind of at first I was like, wait, what?
But how many Razzies did it win?
So well, that's what's funny is I was looking at initially, I was like, oh, well, it got nominated for best art direction, set decoration. It was nominated, didn't win, but Michael Cimino did win the Razzie for Worst Director, and in the Stinkers Movie Awards, it was the winner for Worst Sense of Direction.
He lost his damn compass and map. He didn't know where the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, they literally just said, "Don't let that award is also called Stop Them Before They Direct Again." Like that, it's literally the
Hollywood basically did for quite a while.
Yeah, he pretty like got soft blackballed more or less, and then it's like he never made any good movies again. Pretty much.
I mean, with the projected budget, like, of course it's looking back to like, man, so much money was lost on this, and yeah, it is one of those movies that, I mean, it needs to be there, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I was
history to repeat itself.
I don't want to harp on this, but just the amount of money he was really wasting, like a day.
This was the most expensive movie ever made in its day.
Like it was something like just from the filming alone, like the film he was using was supposedly he was blowing $200,000 a fucking day on that. That's back in like 1979.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking money.
It's insane. Yeah, like when you adjust it for inflation, it's $720,000 a day.
So in a week, he's spending more than $1 million just on film.
Yes, it's just nuts. But
that is absolutely crazy.
So I saw. I was reading some other things about this, like reviews of, and yeah, it's like people say it's boring. People say they like it. In my opinion, they don't adequately explain why they like it. It's always just like.
I think some people want to like it. I think that's it.
That's what I think it is too. People want to feel cool about liking this movie.
Absolutely. I had that same impulse. I was like, oh, this movie flopped, and it's a Western, and it's fucking 4 hours long. Oh, man, I'm going to check this out from the library. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to champion this movie. And I saw it. I was like, no, I'll find another movie to champion. I'll be a stupid douchebag edgelord over something else.
Yeah. So yeah, it's important to know which hill it's appropriate to die on. This was not the one.
I'll champion Waterworld. Okay, I'll just go do that instead.
Oh my god, like, I got that feeling a lot from people because it's like you did a little letterbox review and I made like a little comment in it because you were just talking about like political stuff. People like might like this movie for like those reasons or something.
Yeah, it's not. You can't say you like it for that reason though. Like that's not going to be what they say. I just think that part of them thinks it that way. Like I mean, I hate people make the joke that if you make your movie about the Holocaust, it's Oscar bait. There's a lot of fan-fucking-tastic Holocaust movies, but there's still that joke that like if you're gonna make a movie about the Holocaust, you're gonna get nominated for some awards, and
Probably.
it feels kind of like that here because it's about the plight of American immigrants, and that's always like a political topic, like I was talking about earlier. And that's what I think a lot of people are like. I've decided to like this movie because it represents values that I find dear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and most anybody that's like speaking positively about it, though, it's like Dub said, they're just like, it's pretty, shot well. I like Kris Kristofferson and Christopher Walken.
I mean, I agree with all those statements, but those statements
Yeah.
alone, a great film does not make.
Nope.
Right. Yeah.
What do you guys think this movie is actually about, though? That's the interesting thing.
That's the problem. Is it changes just enough that you can't just say it's a movie about the Johnson County Wars. So I don't know. It's about the mistreatment of immigrants in the American West, I guess. But that's the problem. It needs to be about Kris Kristofferson and Christopher Walken and what they do. But you can't say that.
To a hooker.
What they do to that they both love dearly. It's Paint the Wagon, but without the music.
It's funny because Roger Ebert, when he reviewed this movie, he was like, at first he's like, why does everybody say this movie sucks so bad? Then he actually watched it and he was like, it is really bad. And I've seen Paint My Wagon. He said
it does look like shit. Oh, did he really say I've seen Paint Your Wagon?
Yeah. Like
funny,
he thought that was like his worst movie of all time before this, I guess. I don't know.
Man, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I read an interesting theory about this movie. Not that it's not like, oh my God, I'm going to like reconstruct this whole movie based off of my fan theory thing. It wasn't like that. This was somebody's interpretation of like what it was. And they said it's about some guy's memory of his life previously. And he just like, and I think that scene at the end, maybe you could pin it all on that. He's like standing there on the boat looking out and he's just like all fucking sad and old and shit.
Yep.
And then he says stuff like, I hate getting old through the movie. I hate it. And he's always thinking about his earlier days when he graduated and stuff. And
so it's supposedly some memory, and that is, again, especially knowing like it just completely takes away from what actually happened.
Yeah.
Like that the guy was just hanged at the same time. There was no, she just gets shot all of a sudden, and that's what you're left with. The ending is so fucking stupid.
You don't like it?
I think it's so fucking stupid.
I kind of I like it because
it doesn't fit at all.
Well, I mean, you might be in a situation 20 years later in your life looking out somewhere and it doesn't fit in your story.
Yeah, but then we actually forgot that I was actually hanged and none of that actually really happened. And it was just, and the guy just conveniently decided to make it up and just very abruptly have the love of my life shot at the end, just out of nowhere, like a swerve, so that he could pull the whole, like he might as well have been like, oh, it was all a dream, and he was just sitting back there at his class graduation, and he was just looking into the future instead. Like
my favorite cop-out scene to that is it's a death dream. It's like somebody's dying and they see all that shit. And then it zooms out. They're like they're laying in a pile of rubble and blood or some shit. They're dead.
Fucking what is it? What's the video game it's all Chopin's Fever Dream?
Eternal Sonata.
Yeah.
Eternal Sonata. yeah. This is the Western Eternal Sonata.
I guess, but my point was like somebody laid all that out, and they were like, "It's just him remembering his past, and it sucks." And I guess that's one way you could look at that movie. It's just you're not convinced that it was constructed that way necessarily.
I mean, if you told me that he had dementia and that's why it's laid out the way it is, then maybe.
Okay, we got to measure it by this. Was it as bad as Suburban Commando?
Well,
no.
I haven't watched Suburban Commando, so I can't really, I can't make that comparison. But it is, I'll say this: it is not the worst movie I've ever watched.
No.
Yeah.
It's not even the worst movie we watched on the show.
Oh, for sure. Like it's not a terrible movie, and there are some things about it that are positive. Like we're shitting on it, but overall, it is a bad movie that I don't want to. It's heavily flawed. I don't want to revisit it. I don't recommend it. Like that, just to cut to it. Like that's where I'm at with the film, and I would be okay never talking about it again. Honestly, be like,
It's
because we can talk about all the what ifs, but it's just now that I know, like it's like okay, I don't know. You can talk about all the what ifs to fix. If anything, this movie is forever now a metaphorical cautionary tale of what happens when you give someone who had a couple of good hits early too much freedom to do what they want with.
Hollywood learned a
Carte
lesson.
blanche, yeah.
Once burned, twice shy. Now they won't give anyone a chance at anything ever.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Just based off of like drawn out scenes.
Yeah, no. If this was like an hour and a half, and it was this beautiful, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever, put it on. Who cares? Do not waste 2.5 to 4 hours of your life watching Heaven's Gate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I was down on when we did our racing movies. Remember Le Mans? I was like, it was boring, but some scenes were kind of cool. I like Le Mans more than this movie.
Well, good. I'm glad it makes you appreciate Le Mans more because I love that movie.
Yeah, well, mine's significantly better than this.
I mean, there you go. There's like I was saying earlier, I own like 200 Criterion movies, and some of them suck out loud. But this is one I was like, I don't need that one on the shelf.
Yeah.
So you don't recommend it either?
No, I'm afraid not.
Yeah.
I only recommend it if you have morbid curiosity that has to be fulfilled. That's the only one.
Yeah. I think you said something interesting though, Andy, about how maybe you recommend this if this were an hour shorter. The sad part is this movie could be an hour shorter, and you'd still get the majority of the story that is given anyway.
Well, it's funny that you say that because there exists a fan-made cut of this called the Butcher's Cut that's 106 minutes long.
There you go.
I kind of want to watch that.
See,
not right now, but maybe in the future.
Man, future live episode where we all just get together and drink and watch that and then talk about it later. That could be fun. the Butcher's Cut.
Imagine it just ends on the rape scene and he just shoots the dudes and it just ends there.
I
mean, all you have to literally do is show that they're initiating, and then he comes in and shoots them. I don't need 10 minutes of that. Because all that does too is just further make her just a plot device. Like her rape is not significant to her being raped. Her rape is just a way for him to look cool because he killed some guys, which further just devalues her. It's just shit. But anyway, we can go on.
She devalued herself, brother, with her profession. First of all,
if she didn't dress that way. That's exactly the route we're going. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm done talking about this movie.
Chaz, what's your movie for next week?
We're gonna watch John Carter of Mars. I'd whisper it. It's just John Carter from 2020.
I've never seen this movie.
Me either.
I'm interested to talk about this.
I still remember always that when this movie came out, they spent $1 billion to promote it, and the movie theater in Huntington, West Virginia, had this cardboard standee that was like, I don't know, like fucking 30 feet wide or something. It was huge. It was like the letters, and each letter had like stupid sci-fi bullshit on them. I was like, man, that movie must be pretty cool. And then people said, that movie ain't cool, so I didn't see it.
We're gonna talk about it because, okay, slight spoilers. I have watched this movie, and I guess depending on how you guys feel about it, this will not be. I have a feeling this will not be a unanimous thing. This one's going to be a little more contested, at the very least.
Did you have any emotional diarrhea in this movie?
No.
No, okay.
Not that I remember. I mean, we'll watch it again and see, but I don't recall.
It's going to hit different.
It is a Disney movie, so who knows?
Oh, fuck yeah. It was
John
a
Carter's
Disney movie?
For Lorcana. Where are we getting that?
Yeah, no animals were killed during the making of this movie.
Lol.
All right, that's enough. Okay, what's everyone been watching, playing, and doing? That's enough of this giggly giggle stuff. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go first this week because you guys are all giggle pusses. I think I'm on the wrong part of my thing. I got back into Ocarina of Time. I beat the Fire Temple. I'm horsing around in the Ice Cave right now, which is not technically a temple, but it feels like a dungeon. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, I'm back on track for Zelda. I'm doing it now. I watched a little bit more Star Trek Voyager. I'm not like watching a season a week anymore. I'm just kind of watching an episode every other day or so, like while I eat dinner or something. It's still great. I'm in the season that is supposed to be one of the best seasons, and so far, yeah, it's great. But still, I've been in a movie mood, as I'll talk about in a minute. I guess before I talk about all the movies, I also watched the how do they say it? Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. They can't just call it the Italian Grand Prix. They had to call it something stupid.
It's called
It was like one of the best races of the year so far. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, Imola was good.
What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part of that race, Zach?
The Max Verstappen pass in the first lap was pretty sweet.
God damn it, that's what I was gonna say.
It was a great pass.
It really was. Like every once in a while, you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That there's a reason he's world champion." I guess.
Like I think Alex Albon tried to do a pass like that too. It just didn't work for him.
He went in the gravel.
He
should have got fourth. God damn it.
Yeah, he should have. But Alex Albon having a good run. That race was cool too. I also like that Ferrari kind of reversed their fortune a little bit.
Sorta.
I mean, they got more points. They were fucking down in like 11 and 12.
Yeah, they qualified
Very badly.
Poorly.
That's pretty much it, I guess. I mean,
there was a lot of good racing, a lot of overtakes, a lot of interesting stuff happened. A couple safety cars, a couple retirements. One of them was Kimmy. How sad.
Now we got one of the most boring races of all time coming up.
Yeah, like I'm gonna watch it just out of like I gotta watch every race, but I just don't like Monaco. It sucks. But we'll talk about that next week. Who cares? And then I watched a bunch of movies. I'm down to like I think it's like half a dozen Akira Kurosawa movies, and then I will have watched everything he ever made. So I'm trying to do that slowly. I watched One Wonderful Sunday, which I've been avoiding because it's literally just about a couple goes on a date on a Sunday and they're poor. And that's kind of it.
Okay.
But, it's a Kurosawa movie. So it's like, it's real cute and heartful. And it's, it's nice. And at the end, you're like, oh, how sweet. I guess some people have emotional diarrhea over it. I didn't. I was just like, yeah, this movie's fine. It's okay. I watched, I still have a subscription to Classicy, which is just like Soviet era behind the Iron Curtain movies and modern day stuff made in Eastern Europe as well. But they released a collection of 4 films called Soviet Satire, and one of them I'd already seen, Madness, and I liked it a lot. So I said, I'm going to watch the rest of these. So I watched all 3 of them. I watched it's called Blue Mountains or An Unbelievable Story. And you got to remember, these are all translated. Like this movie's Georgian, so it's translated from some of the language, so it sounds weird, but whatever. Blue Mountains or An Unbelievable Story, and it's basically just about bureaucracy, Soviet bureaucracy. This guy writes a novel and he's trying to get it published, and the whole movie is just him getting blown off by bureaucrats, and it's pretty funny. I liked that movie. The ending is really, really good, I thought. I watched My Grandmother, which is also Georgian, but it's a silent movie. It's from 1929. It's impressively made for a silent movie from Georgia, but it was okay. I didn't love it as much. And then I also watched We Are Our Mountains, which is from Armenia, and it's from the late 70s. And basically, these guys are working on a state, like the way the Soviet Union they had like state farms and state whatever. They're all watching a bunch of sheep for the Soviet Union or whatever, and some weird sheep wander in, and they decide to butcher and eat a couple of them. And it turns out the guy who lost the sheep comes looking for him, and they pay him, and they're basically like, hey, fuck off, whatever. And the guy's not really that happy about it. But then the state decides to prosecute on his behalf, even though he's like, it's fine, whatever, I don't care. And so the whole thing follows this Soviet lieutenant who's like researching it, and it's a pretty compelling movie. It's pretty cool. If you like satires from Armenia, you'll love it.
That's
and
favorite.
yeah, that's what everyone's favorite genre. But like, it's interesting though because I watched an Armenian movie for the first time ever, and a Georgian movie for the first time ever, and then I watched another Georgian movie. The other one in the collection is from Ukraine, I think. But yeah, they were all pretty cool. It's just an interesting little thing I did because I'm a film weirdo. And then I also watched another Werner Herzog movie. It's going to be the last one for a while. I don't know how to pronounce it though. Straussweg. It's a name. It's a German name. Interestingly, it's about immigrants, sort of, who come to America and get mistreated horribly. I was this is pretty serendipitous that I watched this week. This German guy gets out of prison, and he kind of like hooks up with this prostitute, and I don't know. They both have problems, obviously, and they and his neighbor, some old guy who's kind of eccentric but not, go to Wisconsin. The old guy's got a nephew there, and he's like, yeah, sure, come live with me, we'll get you a trailer, who cares. And they go to the United States, and the middle of the movie's like pretty cool, and the ending of the movie haunts me to this day. The ending of the movie is very heavy, and I will not spoil it because it is worth watching. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it a lot. But yeah, I've been in movie mode. I'm trying to switch over to game mode though. I'm trying to beat Zelda. I think that's gonna happen pretty soon. I think that's it. Yeah, watched a bunch of movies no one else is ever gonna watch and discuss with me. So what are you gonna do?
Hey, maybe one day.
Go next. Step up.
I'll go next.
Oh, there you go.
First, haha. I didn't really do a lot, so I thought I would just knock it out. I didn't actually play any video games. It's not been, I guess it's been a little while, but I had to get back into the swing of work, and my daughter she graduated kindergarten. Woo!
Nice.
We had all these eventful things, and she had a dance recital, which was, man, okay, just general advice to anyone ever out there. If you have a child that is interested in dancing, just let them dance like an idiot in your house and tell them they're a superstar. Do not enroll them in dance class and do dance recitals. You will regret it. All joking aside, I mean, she was cute and she was the princess, but man, that was a slog. But anyway,
would you rather go to dance recital or watch Heaven's Gate?
I would rather watch the extended cut back to back than go through that again.
Oh man,
we did it.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was miserable. Yeah. I would actually, if I get to choose, I would take one of my fingers or toes if I didn't have to do that again.
Okay.
Yep.
What a drama queen.
I know I am. I'm just a whiny little bitch. But anyway, I watched them. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm still churning through that. I think I'm actually up to like season 10 now, so I'm getting through it. Played in a Pokemon Cup. Did pretty poorly. I'm kind of frustrated because it was all just me. I made some really bad misplays, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to play at this bigger event that I'm going to in just 2 weeks, and I still have no clue, and it's a little bit of limbo. So that's nice and stressful. I didn't play any Arcana. I watched a Matthew McConaughey movie. McConaughey's not over just yet. I watched the animated film Sing. If anyone's watched it, it's a bad movie with a lot of heart. Like it's got some funny moments, and it has some good music in it. The soundtrack's pretty good, like the covers they do and everything. But overall, it's a pretty film. Like my daughter encompassed it perfectly. She like halfway through, she's like, "This movie almost over, Dad. I'm kind of bored." And that's about.
At least she admitted it. Don't children usually just get up and begin doing something else?
They kind of do, but she felt really compelled because we were doing other stuff. Like I was up here playing around with cards and other stuff, and she's like, "Dad, can I go watch? Can I do something else?" And I was like, "We're almost done with the movie, though." She's like, "Okay." And then it picked up, so it got better. But there was one thing that I did that was neat. I finished Dragon Ball Daima, so it actually like the last 2 episodes finally came out. So officially, 20 episodes is the last thing that Toriyama got to work on, Dragon Ball related. So it's not perfect, but overall I enjoyed it a ton. It has so many great vibes to the original series. The last 2 episodes were a great climax, especially with some of the things they did. There's one subtle thing that I just wish they would have changed that was toward the end, because it just doesn't make sense for how cool. Like, it's like something cool happens at the end, but it could have been a little cooler just based on what they did at the end.
If
I don't
Vegeta
know.
had done it instead, yeah.
Well, that would have been really cool too, but I don't know how to explain it until someone watches it. I could say what it is, but yeah,
Maybe I'll get back to it one day.
but it's worth the watch.
It's worth it. It's only 20 episodes.
It's only 20 episodes. I think it's totally
I think maybe I will get back to it then.
Push through, because like the first handful of episodes are all like, here's the thing, is like he doesn't spend so much time with the character building, especially in the first half, because it's all about the world building part. Like, oh, we have this whole new world that we never visited the demon world or the demon realm or whatever, hell. So you have all this stuff that they're looking through, and it's all new stuff. None, a lot of it's not explained. You kind of just have to take it for what you get. But then they start to explain the characters, and then you actually pick up on a lot of the themes. I read a really good article that talked about the themes throughout the series, and the entire arc, in their opinion, was about childhood, and it's actually very true based on the imagery that's in the story. So it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I would recommend it to others. And they don't do Vegeta completely dirty. In fact, they give him the best way. Like, I laughed out loud. They gave him the single best way to have an out to not be completely defeated, and it's amazing. So there's that. It's really funny. So anyway, you watch Dragon Ball Daima.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I watched some movies. I rewatched Heretic again because I think it's one of my best thrillers of this year so far. Just a great movie. A24 just keep on coming out with good ass movies. I want to see Warfare, which I think Alex Garland is on that film. And,
Ooh, I like him.
Yeah, so I want to check that out. But it's a great movie. I highly encourage you guys to go see it. I rented this movie called MK Hexen, and I'm like, it was like a found footage film. It's literally this brother who's doing a documentary on his little brother who committed suicide out of nowhere, and slowly you find out he was looking into some fucking CIA fucking MK Ultra shit that was dealing with interdimensional fucking demons and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? The ending was so stupid because these fucking demons were coming and out of nowhere they just did a religious thing and they all just went away. And I was like, okay, I hate this film.
Dubs, you more than anyone. I wish would commit to doing a letterbox. I really want to hear reviews on all this stuff. I want you to type up a couple paragraphs about what you just said. I want that so bad.
Yeah, I will commit. I will commit to doing that. I keep on forgetting that exists because because I don't do Twitter anymore. Facebook is I only talk to you guys, but a letterbox and all that stuff.
It can be a social media replacement. When I'm bored, if I'm at work or wherever I am and I'm looking at my phone, if it's not Reddit, it's Letterboxd now. And I just go down rabbit holes. A movie I'm interested in, the director or an actor in it that I like, other things they've done. What's the most popular movie? What's this movie about? Oh, this is also directed by this guy. This guy also directed these other things. Oh, okay, I remember this movie. Okay, and then you eventually you're just 30 links down a hole and you're adding stuff to your watch list left and right.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna get to it because I want that. I want to see other movies or other TV shows that I can get hooked on. So I will commit. I will make that a fucking promise. The next movie was a Johnny Depp movie, and if you're thinking of the best ones, well, guess what? It wasn't. It's Transcendence. It's when it's about like this big tech company building an AI essentially, trying to build their next chat GTP or whatever, or images and stuff. And out of nowhere, again, this religious dude like stands up and says, "Hey man, are you trying to be God for creating AI?" And then out of nowhere, cue to the next scene, he has a gun and shoots Johnny Depp down. He's dead.
Rude.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I went too far. He got
Wait,
shot.
that's the end of the movie. Let's go back.
Yeah, he got shot. They saved him at the hospital, but then later found out he got sick with cancer because the bullet was laced with fucking some type of radiation. So a radiated bullet killed Johnny Depp's character, and his wife was like, "What if
we put his brain in the computer, and now the
Yes.
AI is going to be him?" Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and fuck it. I'm just gonna spoil for you guys because it's a fucking stupid movie. So the whole time, like Morgan Freeman is in this movie, and he's like, "You're not real." Or I was trying to do a Morgan Freeman like impression, didn't work.
Well,
out well.
he's not Australian, so let's start with that.
Yes, I know. But he comes in and says, "Dude, I don't think that's Johnny Depp." And then at the end, it was Johnny Depp. Like she was like, "I'm gonna like put a virus in you," and it's not sexual in any way. But like she dies. She dies, and the AI Johnny Depp was like, "I was real the whole time," and I was like, "You
What?
And I was like, "Why is this movie dumb?"
Fuck.
It has good actors. It's so dumb. So the next movie that popped up, because I just let it go on Amazon Prime. I just wanted to see where the rabbit hole would go. It went to Limitless.
Oh.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, movie's pretty.
Why do
bad.
you do this to yourself? So you're like 6 or 7 hours deep into movies you don't like.
But here's the thing, like Bradley Cooper's in there. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, like dude, that's
Yeah, you
Hangover.
jerk off looking at him. I get it, but still.
Yeah. But then Robert De Niro comes out and we're like, what the fuck? Why is he in this movie? And it's
Limitless is weird. It's like, doesn't that movie have like its fans or fan base? Or I feel like
Is that the one
Yeah,
where you take a pill and you like don't sleep or something?
it makes
Yeah,
it unlocks the rest of your brain, whatever the fuck.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
you
and
only use 10% of your brain, which isn't
But
true.
it's bullshit because they don't even like try to go sci-fi and use something made up. They use Manafidil, which is literally a medicine for narcolepsy that just exists
We
already.
just have that at work right now. I can just get
Yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah. Instead of that, they literally could have just put him on like fucking high dose methamphetamines and been like, "Oh, look at this! He took a bunch of ADHD meds, and it turns out he's just a fucking genius."
Turns out if you take Concerta, you don't have to sleep. Oh, who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and I don't know. It's about a writer who got a book deal, and he got writer's block, and then he met his like ex-wife's fucking brother-in-law, and he's like, "Dude, here's this pill. It makes you fucking like smart and shit." And he takes it, and he turns into like fucking Andrew Tate for some strange reason.
That's not what I expected you to say, but okay.
Yeah, it's close enough. And then like he gets addicted to this, and apparently when you're getting attacked by like mafia and gangsters and stuff, if you take the pill, you know every possible fucking move that he's gonna do, like you're fucking Neo from the Matrix.
It's fucking funny.
And I will say I ended it with a good movie. I watched Seven Samurais? Am I saying that right? Akira.
Seven Samurai. Yeah, the Kurosawa movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
so
talking
I
about a
watched-
left turn. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I watched it and I was like, fuck yeah. That's a good movie.
To balance it out.
All right, yeah, good
Yeah.
review.
I'm I really thought this was going to be a curve. You were going to be like, you know that Seven Samurai movie? Yeah, I watched A Bug's Life. I was waiting for that.
Yeah, there you go. Same thing.
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Who cares? You can't miss.
You know, I always confuse Limitless, Looper, and Jumper. I always confuse those three movies for some reason.
You don't have to because all three of them suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like pseudo sci-fi bullshit.
And they all came out like around. There was like this little
Right.
chain of them, and I'm just like, they're all like interchangeable to me.
Yeah, it's like that.
Though-
Justin.
I always remember Jumper because it has one of my favorite video game covers of all time. The one for the Wii is just like a big plain orange background with like a peak, and the main character is standing on it, and there's just like a lens flare or something. But just a cursory glance, just looking at it real quick, you can tell immediately that the guy and the background are completely different resolutions. Just not even close. Like it looks like someone threw it together in paint and then it was like, this is Jumper for the Wii. Who gives a fuck? I'm gonna print this sucker and just put it out the door. I love it. It's great.
The subtitle is Griffin's Story.
There you go.
What the fuck?
Yeah, usually when I like saw Limitless, like the trailers and stuff, I always thought of like, and it's gonna be totally different because it's like a sci-fi movie, the Justin Timberlake movie where you get paid by a fucking time and shit, and if you lose your time, you fucking die or something.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie. Sucked too.
Yeah, that movie sucked donkey fucking balls dicks, and all the balls and dicks.
Wasn't it called Out of Time or In Time or something?
Yeah, In Time.
In Time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all. That's all I've done. No gaming. I downloaded Doom. I'm gonna be playing it on Thursday, my day off.
Cool.
Nice.
Zach, you're up.
Well, it's me. Well, I watched a bunch of old Star Trek. I watched how many episodes did I watch? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I watched 6.
Wow.
Let's see. I watched one where they went to some planet that was full of a bunch of guys who act like Klingons, but they're not Klingons, or some other weird fucking alien race that are just people dressed in silly costumes. But they had a cool boomerang-like weapon. They would like throw it at people, and it would stick in them. It would sail like a boomerang, but it would stick in you and kill you instantly.
Nice.
So it'd be like, ah! And then like the dude just falls over dead because it's like old Star Trek.
No.
It was pretty cool, but not a whole lot to talk about there. It's just like a fun little adventure episode, which is like what that whole series is really. The Deadly Years, that one was cool because it was like they all went to some planet to like check out some kind of like research outpost, I think, to like resupply them and stuff. And when they got there, almost all of them were dead, except for like 2 of them, and they were like really old, and they were all supposed to be like in their 20s. Like, what the hell? Why is everybody old? And then like they beam back up to the ship. They try to help them. They can't help them. They die of old age. And then everybody else that went down there starts getting old. Like they start rapidly aging. Except for Chekhov. He didn't start rapidly aging. He was the only one that was unaffected.
Weird.
It was kind of a funny reason why, but they solved the problem, obviously, and they get out of it. But it was kind of cool because you can see like everybody else was aging really rapidly except for Spock because he's half Vulcan, so he just ages slower. Kirk is like trying to give orders and shit. He's just like, go that way. He's like, you already told me to. No, I didn't. I told you, go that way. And everybody just like looks at each other like he's Joe Biden or something. I don't know. It's just like, you just told me that. No, I didn't. I want the report now. They have to take command away from him, bottom line. He fights it all the way. He's like, just because you don't remember things sometimes doesn't mean you can't run a ship. Obsession. That one was pretty interesting. There was some kind of like fart cloud that like is vampiric and it sucks the life out of people. And like Kirk encountered it early in his career and he failed to kill it. And he like basically he's just like ignoring all his like his orders to like kill this fucking
it's Moby Dick.
It's Moby Dick, yeah, kind of. It's Star Trek Moby Dick.
Nice.
That one was cool. Wolf in the Fold. Having trouble remembering that one, actually, what the plot was.
That one must suck then.
No, actually, it did suck. That one was really cool. I just couldn't recall it. But like, they go to some planet to like blow off some steam, basically. And Scotty's gonna get with some hot chick who's like a dancer at this bar they're at. And then you hear and like somebody got fucking murdered. It was her, but he's like holding the knife and everything. Like that's what you see. And he's like, I didn't kill her, I swear. And
Dude, that reenactment.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not a woman. I can't scream like a woman. So.
I know. It was great.
That's my woman scream. But I mean, I could go louder, but I don't want to do that. It's basically a plot where it looks like Scotty is murdering women, but he swears to God he's not doing it. There's a twist. It's a really cool twist. It's like some people might think it's cheesy, like Chaz Posey is cheesy. Fuck this show, but it's actually pretty funny. Then I watched Gamesters of Triskelion. It was just like some brains in a jar teleport people to this planet to make them do fights for them because they think it's like entertaining. That's like what it boils down to. And like Kirk tricks them into like saying like, why do you enslave people? If you guys are so smart and all powerful, how come you don't create a society where people can like thrive? And he gets them to make a bet with him that like if he can beat their guys in a fight, they'll do that instead of like trying to kill everybody. And then a piece of the action. That was the last one I watched, and it was basically they found this planet where like I think a starship from like 100 years ago stopped by this planet to help them, help them cultivate their civilization or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went there, it was like 1920s American gangsters world. That's what it was.
Oh, that's a famous episode, I think.
Yeah, it's famous for a reason because it's really funny and entertaining. It's just like, what were you gonna say?
Isn't Spock in like a fedora or something like that?
Yeah, at some point, Kirk and Spock dress up as gangsters.
Nice.
It's great, and then Kirk starts acting like a gangster, and it's really funny.
Hell yeah!
Just watch that episode. It's just like Star Trek but gangsters.
Give me that gabagool. I'm trying to like do like Kirk.
What do they say? Be like a statue, and Spock's like, "What are you saying? Be like stone." And he's like, "Freeze!" He's like, "Oh." It's funny just because everybody says all these colloquialisms, and he doesn't get it. Watch some more wrestling bios videos. Not a whole lot to talk about. I watched the Starrcade 95 one. He was mostly unimpressed with that show.
Did he have the same comments as us? Like it wasn't a good build?
Yeah, because it all revolved around like that weird World Cup of Wrestling thing that I swear to God, it was like they didn't know what to do, how to build the cards. They're just like, fuck it, let's just do a tournament and it won't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never do it again, and we'll act like it was a big deal, and we hope we do it again. He didn't like the triangle match. He thought it was really boring. It was like kind of opposite of us. I don't know. I do agree. I think it went a little long. Maybe they could have cut it down a little bit, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it. He started doing the WWE Atrocity series, which is like the Blunder series for WCW.
Mm-hmm.
He started with the Vince McMahon's $1 Million Mania shit. That's funny. Like, if you don't really clearly remember that, you should go see it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole angle can be summed up, though, in this. It lasted for like 3 weeks, and then it ended with Vince McMahon looking like he died. And he said, "Paul, I can't feel my legs, Paul." That's how it ends. The stage collapses on him. That's how he kept trying to write himself off of TV because he didn't want to be on TV anymore. But like networks kept saying, "We want Vince McMahon on TV." Because they remember all the stuff he did with Steve Austin and everything.
And then he blew himself up, and they thought, "Wow, he fixed it." Well,
yeah, I think this was after. This is after he blew himself up. Yeah.
Oh, this is after. Oh, that's even worse. So this is like him like trying to still get off television and kill himself anyway.
Yeah, it's like they sucked him back in just when he thought he was out. They bring him back, and he's like, "God damn it, I gotta come up with some creative way to get out of this shit." So he did. The funniest thing though was seeing him try to dial phone numbers. It was fucking hilarious because he couldn't do it. I forgot all about that. He kept dialing the wrong numbers and fucking it up and shit. And then it's like they have, you know what those conference room phones look like? It looks like a weird future phone that's like four-sided and it's got like speakers on it and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The next week they came out with like this big octogenarian phone that had like the numbers are like this big around and they're in bold print, so he couldn't fuck it up, and he still did.
That's silly.
He's a silly old man. That's what he is.
Something.
He's something. I watched some ECW. I finished that up. I finished up the 1995 ECW programming, and there's not a lot to write home about other than Scorpio Sky rules in ECW. Not Scorpio Sky. Too Cold Scorpio. Fucked up. He should have been the main event heel. Yeah, I can't believe that was bad. I'm sorry to compare those two.
Yeah.
But goddamn, he should have been like the main heel or something. Played Ocarina of Time and I beat it.
Whoa.
Oh, fuck.
That's what I spent a lot of my time doing. Really, was I was playing games and I beat that. And I had like a whole spiel and like a video game chat about it.
There's two are done. 2 remain.
2 to go, brother. Great game. And I beat WrestleMania 2000 last night.
Hell yeah, brother.
I didn't put it in the chat. Usually we do a screenshot of us beating the game because there was no good screenshot.
Yeah, sometimes there's not. That's why some of the ones I send sometimes are like level designs. Some idiot. And it's like, oh, there was no the end screen. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, so I elected not to and just put it in the doc. And then I beat it.
Did The Undertaker finally usurp champion Road Dogg?
Yeah. Ken Shamrock beat Road Dogg, and then I faced Ken Shamrock at WrestleMania.
My thing is, I spell my name.
Nice.
I'm X-Pac. My thing is, X-Pac.
You know, it's weird. YouTube, I've been doing a lot of, I'm stripping wallpaper in this room. I'm almost done. And I'll play something on YouTube that I want to play, and then it'll just autoplay stuff, and it keeps trying to play AVGN, and that's fine, whatever. But it replayed his
Wrestling is
Death
wrestling
and Return of Superman, and then Wrestling is a Wrestling video. And I've seen them each a bunch of times, but I let them play just because I was in there anyway. Man, they're still good. They're still entertaining. I really like them.
Yeah, it's still funny.
I'm a freaking snake.
Fucking snake. Harry Potter.
I like to hurt old people.
I beat the game though. It was hard. That game's AI gets really rubber bandy when you get high up in the season mode. It's like all of a sudden the AI will counter almost every goddamn move you try to do, and then like you can't counter shit. So you have to figure out a way to fuck the AI a little bit, and that's what I did. I found out that the AI gets confused if you just stand there and taunt it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can stand there and taunt them 2 or 3 times and get away with it. And in that game, in those games, when you taunt the enemy wrestler, their little spirit meter goes down. It decreases depending on the length of the taunt too.
Huh.
So like you can stand there and just say "fuck you," and then like make their spirit go down and make them not as good at countering and everything. Cheap ass AI. The only reason I did it is because it was so cheap. Don't think I'll play it again because the season mode is like really fucking lame in that game. It's literally you just do matches, and you do matches. And
What else is there to possibly do?
well, part of wrestling is like getting in angles and shit, or like beating guys up backstage, or something funny happens, and none of that shit happens. It's just matches. So like it's kind of boring, and it sucks too because like what happens is you think, well, the goal is to challenge for the world title. Well, to do that, you have to win matches. So what happens is when you're winning all these matches, you win all these titles. That's the screenshot of me with like all the titles except one.
Except the main one, yeah.
You know what happens when you hold all the titles? You got to defend all of them. So now you're having more matches because you hold all the titles.
Oh.
So you'll go on a pay-per-view and it was like, Undertaker, you're booked for 4 matches. Fuck. It's just like a catch-22. Like I think that was their first time trying a mode like that, and it wasn't designed well. Because
It's like fuck me. I just finished this ladder match, but I had to go backstage and get ready for my bra and panties match for the women's championship.
yeah, but like in the WCW games, it's just like arcade mode. It's like you fight 8 dudes and then you win. That's all it is. It's a lot more enjoyable that way. Oh my god.
I like in No Mercy where you could like play as like Vince McMahon or something like that and participate in the fucking bra and panties thing.
Yeah, they fix it in No Mercy. They do what I was talking about. It was like you don't get to do all the other stuff. It's in No Mercy. They're like, oh yeah, there's angles and storylines and shit. I forgot. Yeah, they put it in that game. That's everything I did.
Well, it sounds like that was everyone. We've all done the things, and we've all talked about the things. Anyway, make sure you watch John Carter. How long is John Carter? Is that a long movie? It's more than 2 hours, isn't it?
I don't know. It's like 2 hours.
Okay, we'll assume it is. Make sure you watch John Carter. Set aside some time. It's probably on Disney Plus or something, I assume and hope. But we're going to be back here next week. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to continue on the path of Too Big to Fail. We're going to unlearn Hollywood's issues, and then we're going to be big ourselves. I don't know. There's something there. I'll figure it out next week. Who cares? Anyway, in the meantime, make sure you follow us on YouTube if you want to see us. And if you don't care about what we look like, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the other one, Apple, iTunes, whatever it's called now. I don't know. And make sure you like and comment and subscribe and leave a review telling us all the shit we're doing wrong. And we'll ignore it and keep doing what we're doing. Bang our heads against the wall. Having a good old time. Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.